Ready?
Hey everybody, welcome back.
It's the Shores of Ignorance with Michael and
I'm Matt.
And today is kind of fun. We're doing a podcast with our three oldest kids and actually I guess all of our kids.
Yeah, so we have 8 between the two of us. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah. But they're all really awesome people, and we wanted them to be on this program with us.
Yeah.
So we divided them into 3 groups. This is group number 1, the elders.
The elders, yes. They're all very wise and interesting.
They currently look very smug.
So this may or may not be against their will. We're not sure yet.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it, exactly. But yeah, we'll come with us out to the Shores of Ignorance and
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's like a fleeting memory. Whatever you grab just turns to dust. Like eye contact with a stranger in a crowded room. Is a dream begging to reveal. The passing note of a song. The glimmer of the shifting sea. You think you saw it, you think you see it.
All right.
Cool.
Guys, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
So maybe you guys could introduce yourself real quick and how old you are and what your name is and who do you belong to?
I like that.
Okay.
Aiden. Oh, Ellie is jumping in.
She's the oldest. So.
I'm almost said 14. I'm 15. My name's Elia. I belong to the Vaclos.
The V-Force.
Yeah.
V-Force.
I'm Austin. I am 12, and I also belong to the V-Force Vaclos.
You're almost 13 next month.
Yeah.
Next month.
Oh, yay. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yay, birthdays.
I'm Aiden. I'm gonna turn 14 in March, and I'm part of the McCloskeys.
The McCloskey clan.
We don't really have a cool team name like y'all do. Maybe we should come up with one.
Yeah.
McCloskey clan sounds fun.
The McCloskey clan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw like Irish clan, I guess Scottish or Irish?
We're Irish.
Irish.
Yeah.
You just throw clan on it. Sounds awesome.
That's true. Yeah.
And how you say it too. McCloskey clan.
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 How do y'all feel about being here?
Not the best.
I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
I was not excited.
Austin, why is it not the best?
Because I don't like talking to a bunch of people. Even though, yeah.
So why are you doing it?
Because my dad forced me.
True.
Elia, what are you feeling?
I didn't want to do this because I'd much rather draw or read or something.
You could draw while we do this.
Well, too late.
Well, I'm glad.
I am too.
Aiden, how do you feel about it?
I was excited. I wanted to do this.
I think that you were the one out of all the kids that was really excited about doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we're finally doing it.
I think you were driving this because I think last year when we first started, you were wanting to be on the podcast, and Matt and I kept trying to figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah.
And so it's finally happening after a year. So.
So, Elia, you're in high school now.
Yes.
What, freshman? Mm-hmm. How is that?
It's really hard and not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it different from middle school?
No,
No?
not at all. Except for like one class. But other than that, it's the exact same as middle school. So.
But you are going to be driving pretty soon.
I don't think it'll be soon, but.
No?
Well, I mean, I have had 2 lessons in driving, and that's it. I don't know almost anything about driving.
Well, if your dad would get on the ball and do the class for you,
I feel like if he's forcing y'all to be here and you're doing it, you've gained some leverage to get some things you want out of him.
don't say that.
Well, let's start off with a question.
Okay.
Like I said in the intro, I think this might be a pretty cool opportunity for you guys to have something about you now documented going into the future. I'm kind of curious. You're all in this very transitional state in your life, high school, middle school. And it's going to be over before you know it. What's something you're looking forward to about getting past this point in your lives, being done with high school, moving into adulthood?
One thing that I'm excited about is like kind of not having like all the teachers have like the super big authority over you.
Mm-hmm.
Like in work, you know, you have bosses and stuff, but it's not like, you know, it's like it feels different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. You are in a place where almost everyone has authority over you.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you have more freedom now than you did when you were younger? Like more responsibility?
Yeah, I feel like the responsibility kind of, like more responsibility, I guess, kind of feels like you can have like more freedom, but, you know, like, yeah, more responsibility. So it's kind of like, you know, it's I don't know.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the responsibility, or that it's too much, or do you feel like you could handle some more, or?
I bet I could do a little bit more, but, you know, still sometimes, you know, I'm just like, I worry about it sometimes.
Yeah, how so?
Like, I was sick for like a week, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I had like a bunch of science homework and stuff, and it's like a lot to do for school. And, you know, sometimes I worry like if I end up getting too much or something, I would not be able to do it, or, you know, something bad might happen.
Yeah.
Because you're having to catch up on all that you missed. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Anything that y'all are looking forward to, V-Force?
I guess like having more freedom to do whatever I want. But I don't know. I just don't know what's gonna happen in the future, so I don't know what will transpire.
What would you spend more time on if you had more availability of time and freedom?
Oh, I have no idea.
Well, you do some stuff like your creative stuff that you do, like a skateboard you're working on, and earrings. You have your Etsy account. Would you spend more time on your Etsy account?
Maybe, I guess so.
Yeah. What's your Etsy account's name? You can plug it here.
To the two people.
Yeah, but you gotta come up with a really cool commercial, like, "Hi, I'm Elia. My Etsy account is."
Yeah, I mean, it's called Quietly Curious, but I don't have very much stuff up.
I love that name.
Thank you.
Very good.
It really fits her.
It does.
Yeah. It's
Thank you.
You're quietly curious. What things are you curious about?
I guess like animals and plants. Mushrooms are really cool, but I don't. Probably kind of boring too.
Boring? Why so?
Like if I'd studied them, it would probably become boring.
What do you mean? They're such fun guys.
That was good. That was pretty good.
Awesome. That was
You
great.
threw me off for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fun guy? What are we talking about?" It's like, "Fun guy."
Do you worry, Elliot, that learning more about something reduces its interest because there's less of unknown?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't really think about that kind of stuff ever.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to go back to the redwoods because there's lots of different mushrooms and fungi there.
Yeah.
I think you would probably enjoy it even more now.
Yeah, probably.
So what do you like to draw?
Mostly animals. I've been trying to draw more humans, but that's really hard
Yeah.
to draw, yes.
Your dragons are fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't done any very recently, so.
Well, you're doing the skateboard dragon.
Yeah, I guess so.
So what made you choose a skateboard?
Oh, I don't know. I just saw it laying on the ground in our garage, and I was like, that looks like a fun thing to paint on.
That could use decoration.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna actually skateboard on it or just use it as decoration yet, but yeah. And I was really bored, so I was like, what else should I do other than paint on the skateboard?
I like that though. You're very creative, and you're always finding new things to do, whether it be plants. Her room is full of plants. I think she's going to replace Austin's bed with a plant, probably.
Yes,
soon.
please.
Just got to sleep in a plant bed.
Probably so.
That would be great.
Austin, what are you looking forward to about growing up?
I don't know.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about driving?
I don't like driving.
Have you ever driven?
No.
How do you know?
I mean, the few times I have like slightly driven, I've nearly crashed.
You did a great job in the golf cart, though.
That's because golf carts are literally just go, stop, turn.
Yeah, that's
Same for
that's
cars.
That's kind of what a car is.
Except for
Yeah.
cars have like a lot more stuff, like
That's
gears
true.
and yeah.
It is a little more complicated, yeah, definitely.
I think driving is going to be interesting for y'all because we grew up driving cars that were very different. Like we grew up learning how to drive manual. By the time you guys are really driving, a lot of cars will be driving themselves.
Yeah,
True.
that's crazy.
You could probably easily get away with never learning to drive if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't feel like that'd be a good idea though.
No.
It would be a good idea to learn how to.
yeah I think you should.
Like a useful skill
Yeah, definitely.
in case of emergencies and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like you can brag to your friends that don't know how to drive. Haha, I know how to drive.
There you go.
Aiden, you're looking forward to being out from under the authority of your school system. Do you think
Yeah.
that there's anything, once you graduate high school and you move out into the world, whatever that ends up looking like for you, do you think there's anything that you will miss about being this age?
I mean, obviously, I don't have any experience with, living on my own or anything like that. So, like, I mean, I guess living for free, that's nice. I mean, I think that it's going to be really nice. Like, it's got, because, most of the days whenever I'm going to school and, I don't really have like because I can't drive myself. So I have to kind of, go with whatever you're doing or whatever
Right.
mom's doing. And I think it'll be nice to be able to kind of go under my own time schedule.
Yeah.
Which is like, I've like, sometimes in the mornings at mom's house, I'll bike to school and I don't really have to worry about like what she's doing, what mom's doing and when they leave. So I just have to worry about my own time schedule.
You enjoy that?
Yeah. And it feels nice to be able to manage myself on that time schedule.
Yeah.
And that's just, it kind of felt like relaxing and nice, refreshing to be able to do that. So I think that's one of the things I'll look forward to, is being able to, manage my own time schedule and do that by myself.
Yeah, that can be really relaxing. There's a big sense of freedom in that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Austin. Like you create all these worlds. So what kind of things are you working with right now as far as your Legos? You just created this whole world of your Star Wars figures and stuff like that. Why do you come up with that kind of stuff?
Because I'm bored.
Because you're bored. But what do you like about Legos?
That you can do practically whatever you want out of them,
Yeah.
except for make curved edges.
Yeah.
But other than that, you can make anything you want.
Well, I've noticed that you also take things apart, and so you usually will build it once, and then you end up taking it apart. Does that bother you?
What happens is it gets destroyed beyond repair, and then so I just slightly take it off pieces for other stuff that would be slightly more helpful.
Destroyed by you or your siblings?
Both.
Not intentionally.
Yeah.
It's not like they're like, haha, I'm going to destroy this Lego set. And
Right. It just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably because I don't have a good area to actually put them on. They're usually just like leaning on the very edge, crammed on other top of my shelf. And then they fall off.
How's it for you growing up with 4 sisters?
Annoying, fun, and interesting.
Yeah.
Annoying, fun, and interesting.
Yes.
So tell me about it. Tell me
good
about
answer.
annoying.
That they're always like either, I don't know. It's just. Oh dang! I forgot.
Well, how about fun?
They, like whenever we start playing, we can start doing a lot of funny stuff happen.
I definitely agree with that.
Y'all have a lot of personalities around.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true. I love seeing how you guys will just come up with games and then do also. What's the most current game you guys have come up with?
I don't know. We haven't had an actual lot of time to make something happen. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, school started back up since the break was kind of. Yeah. That's really true.
It's kind of interesting thinking about the three of y'all being, well, we introduced you as the elders, the group of elders in the collection of the 8 kids. Aiden, you were talking about authority, and it kind of strikes me that the three of y'all sitting here are growing in a position of authority with your siblings, and that's been sort of visibly happening as everybody's been getting older. I think both of us leave the three of y'all in charge from time to time.
Yeah.
What's that like for y'all?
Well, so most of the time, whenever this happens, like with the girls, if I'm ever left to deal with them while you're out, I can't really like get them to do anything. They'll be like, "Dad didn't tell you to do that," and it's just that it doesn't really like they don't allow it to happen most of the time.
Right.
So I mean, you kind of have to make rules around that to make it really be authority, but most of the time,
it doesn't feel like you have authority.
No. I mean, I feel like I'm really just there to make sure that they don't set the house on fire. Or something.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Sometimes that's what authority is.
Yeah.
I usually just do whatever they want to do. Like I guess so then they don't like get angry at each other. I usually just get angry at them, but other than that, I usually just let them do their own thing.
Yeah.
And whenever they occasionally say no or yes.
Yeah. Well, is it like recently Hannah was giving you a hard time when you were watching them? What was that like?
Annoying. That's one of the annoying times.
Yeah. But you got them all in bed and everything.
Yeah, mainly it was just them deciding to go to bed.
Oh, really? But you urged them to, right?
Yes. Yeah. After a lot of urging.
A lot of urging, yeah. Well, you've been in charge a lot, and
Yes.
you're kind of, same thing probably with Aiden too. You're the ones that Mom and I have learned our parenting through. I think you and Austin probably taught us. The other kids are getting a lot more of the benefits of that. As far as that responsibility, do you mind that kind of responsibility, or is that sometimes too much?
No, I don't mind it, because then I can kind of exercise a little bit more authority over the others. Most of the time they listen to me, sometimes they don't. But yeah, it's sometimes it's a little much. Like once Hannah was sick and she was like throwing up and I didn't know what to do, and y'all couldn't get back till like really later in the night, and that was kind of freaked me out a little bit. But other than that, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, if it's just over the day, they just play on their devices or go outside or whatever. So it's usually not too much work.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really impressive. You handled that amazing. Like,
And I had a friend over, so that was
right.
that was even worse.
That's impressive.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah, you said something, Michael, that is interesting, that we learned how to parent through this group here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the oldest children are like the guinea pigs
Yes, you
of
are.
learning how to parent for you guys.
Well, and I'm the oldest of my set of 3, and I don't think I realized until probably Estella was born the extent to which my parents parented me differently than they did my brother and sister.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I think y'all will probably realize that more as you grow up and have your own children. But it is really true. Like when we had y'all, we didn't know how to parent. We learned that with you.
You were just making it up as you went.
Still are. But don't tell
It's
our
still
kids,
happening.
okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. Very true.
So I have a question. And I'll direct this to the group, and anyone can answer. What's something that you would change if you could?
Like anything? Mm-hmm. Like completely broad.
Yeah, we'll go broad.
Being able to learn better.
learn better.
Being able to express my learning better, aka not having dysgraphia, so then I could play soccer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a big one, dude. That's cool.
I feel like this is kind of just something I was thinking about earlier. If I could change something, it would probably be like school not being about having good grades, but more about like learning in general, just actually learning things. Because I feel like schools are really focused on having good grades, and that's kind of all it's really about. Is like students will do anything just to have good grades, and they won't even actually think about learning the material. And I feel like, you know, having grades is a good thing for, you know, making sure that the students are learning. But I wish it wasn't at a point where, you know, it's that's all you're worrying about during school. Is I wish you could, you know, worry about actually just learning the material and not worrying about grades. Because, you know, if I'm doing an assignment, I'm like rushing through it to make sure I turn it in on time, but so I don't get a bad grade on it. But I'm not actually like learning anything because I'm not, you know, paying attention to what, like, I'm not actually like retaining the information. I'm just, you know, writing it down and, you know, kind of mindlessly going through it as fast as I can. Like, that would be an example of that.
I think that's really discerning of you, that it's the priority isn't really learning the information. That seems to be secondary to getting things done on time, and that's a whole other thing to learn. Like, there's a whole set of things that you learn from school that don't have anything to do with the subject matter at hand.
Yeah.
Some of those things are simple things like you need to be on time. You need to turn in something on time, even if that means that you don't learn it quite as well as you would otherwise. Yeah. That'll change for you as you get older. Especially as you know, if you end up going to college, that'll be a lot different. And even if you don't, the world has so much to offer you to learn, even just through access to the internet. You'll be able to learn whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, deadlines and stuff like that. There's some things that don't go away that you just have to get done, and you don't get to spend as much time on. But
I remember when I was in high school, once you were able to drive, there was, you know, a parking lot at the high school for the kids to park in, but there was less parking spots than kids that wanted to drive. So you had to apply for a parking spot. And there was this woman, her name was Mrs. Murray, and she drove around on a golf cart all over the high school campus.
That's
and you
awesome.
had to fill out this postcard-sized piece of paper. I don't remember what all was on it, to apply for a parking spot. And she was notoriously just totalitarian about how she ran this process. If you turned the card in and it was anything other than absolutely perfect, if like a corner was bent, or if your handwriting wasn't good enough, or there was a mark out of place or something corrected, she wouldn't accept it. And so people like had such a hard time actually getting a spot to park because it was almost impossible to meet her standard. And everyone thought this was just completely unfair. And then I've reflected on that throughout my life since then and thought, you know, I think there was actually a good lesson in that, which was that there are times when it is important to achieve that level of perfection. And we learned that via this arbitrary method of trying to apply for a parking spot. But understanding all the things that went into successfully keeping this piece of paper pristine and perfect for her, it was much more difficult than I would have ever imagined at that age.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to fill out the thing multiple times? Like, if you failed it, you're allowed to try again? Okay.
Like, I think I had to turn mine in 2 or 3 times at least. And I was a pretty organized person when it came to like my papers and my notebook. And it was still, her standards were so high, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Elia, do you have any answers to the question about what you might change if you could?
I don't know. I guess, like, I agree with the education thing. I guess all the, like, cheesy classic things, like world hunger and clean water and whatnot. But I don't know what I would change, like, for myself personally. I don't know what that would be.
Pretty happy with the way things are going for you?
Not really, but I don't know how I would, like, change them. So.
Well, there's definitely things with your friends that you would like to have everyone more together and and communication and stuff like that. And you really you put a lot of thought into that.
Yes.
I think you really value your friendships pretty highly.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything that you would change in that area, or that you would want to?
I don't know, because like all of my friends, we all went to the same elementary school, and then we branched off in middle school, but most of them were all together except for like me, who went to a different one. And then now in high school, they're all going to basically the same high schools, and then they're all making friends, and their friends are making other friends. But I've kind of like veered off of all those, like the classic high schools and middle schools and stuff.
Yeah.
So probably would change something about that.
Yeah.
But you are literally going to a classic school.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Like
Yeah.
classical school, that's where we're going, but the classic
Yeah.
school.
I think she's talking more like the
Stereotypical.
yeah. Good word. High school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to. I think you've had to. I think that 1 year at Fulmore that was a really hard year for you. I was really impressed how you came through that. Did you learn anything through that? Through that time, that was pretty tough. I thought.
I kind of there was ups and downs to that year. On one hand, I loved like all the electives and weird classes that you could take, like what's it called? Forensic science or environmental science, or Fulmar was very big on law. I wasn't a big fan of that, so I didn't take any classes in that. But it was fun to be able to choose what classes you wanted to do. And most high schools and middle schools did that, but I hadn't and still haven't had that kind of chance to do what I want to do class-wise. But yeah, 7th grade was very lonely for me as well. I had like one friend, and I didn't see him very often. But I had really good art class, advanced art, and that was pretty fun. I learned a lot in that. But other than that, the teachers were mostly cool. Some of them weren't so much, but yeah. Yeah.
I think your art started. I think your middle school. That's when your art started really starting to excel, and you weren't afraid to draw people. I think that was something I saw. You were, because like hands and faces were a little bit funky, and then you were like, it was really challenging.
It could be really intimidating to try to tackle that.
Yeah. Austin, you mentioned your dysgraphia and stuff like that. How has that been as far as with school and playing soccer? I know that's been a hard thing for you.
So what do you mean exactly?
Well, you just mentioned that was one thing you'd want changed, or that you would like to change, so that you could be able to learn easier.
Yeah, dysgraphia just makes it harder for me to write. I mean, getting rid of dysgraphia wouldn't mean everything's easy. It'd just be easier.
Can you explain what dysgraphia is? I haven't heard of that.
It's whenever you can't like write. Like, it's hard for you to express what you learn by writing. Yeah.
Writing specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's got a lot of things going on here, and then to bring that to like a sentence there's like a little bit of a disconnect with that. So yeah. And
also with ADHD.
Double the fun.
I don't mind ADHD as much.
Yeah.
It's sort of helpful sometimes.
Yeah, how so?
I don't know, it just gives me more energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is helpful in soccer.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I've noticed like this last 2 years, you've noticed your progress, yeah? What would you think what has changed the most for you in the last 2 years?
I don't know.
Well, I've seen your schoolwork and learning and your reading and even your writing and stuff like that. It's been pretty impressive. You've worked really hard. Yeah.
I mean, it's more of just depends on the thing I'm writing. If I understand it, then it's slightly easier. But if I don't understand it, it's just double hard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I came up with an answer to the question about what I would change. No homework. It's useless and it takes up my precious home time with my family.
Yeah, they've even like done studies where it says like homework is sort of practically useless, and it just makes things a lot harder.
Yeah, I'm not so happy about the homework stuff either. I feel like once you're done with school, it's like you should be able to be home. Like we're done with work and we get to kind of be home. You know, I think that's. I can understand maybe some of the responsibility things or completing stuff on your own, but
Yeah, I mean, I can understand like doing a reading, but writing an essay after school, that's not fun.
no.
I mean, I think in an ideal world, I agree. Like during the school hours, you should be taught what you need to be taught and be off after that. But I don't think we live in an ideal world.
Really?
Yeah.
So wild.
Well, and I was just thinking about how, especially in college and higher education, there's so much to learn that you can't be taught it all in class. So homework assignments become a necessity if you're going to actually learn what you came there to learn at an advanced level. So an argument could be made that assigning what seems like sort of arbitrary homework that doesn't actually help you in the moment is preparing you, at least discipline-wise, towards the ability to learn at a higher level later in your life.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like some of the homework stuff that they give us is kind of like they're only giving it to us just because they feel like they need to for homework. Like I think it's fair that they give us stuff to do at home. Like I feel like the amount they give us is kind of ridiculous. Like getting an assignment every single day after class and having to turn it in every single time. It just seems like kind of unfair that like they're giving us that much. Like I think it's, like I said, I think it's fair to give us a little bit, or like just the amount that they give us is a lot. And it seems kind of unfair.
You're able to get most of it done at school, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, but at that point it's just like, why are they even giving it to us then? I'm already at school learning. Like I don't know, it just doesn't make any. It's just extra. It's just extra work that seems unnecessary.
Yeah. It's an understandable feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I understand homework. It kind of makes sense, but like definitely the quantity is way too much. Like I shouldn't have to spend 3 hours or more on work, and like I don't get very much time to play with my siblings. Like I mean, none of them have asked me to play with them, but like yeah, I don't ever get to spend time with my family. I have to stay in my room on the floor like doing homework for hours on end after school, after I've already spent 8 hours in like sitting down working, to have to go home and do like 3 hours more of sitting and working.
Yeah, you do have like a lot of homework. I always feel bad for you on that.
Thank you.
That's hard to. Yeah. What other questions do we have?
Well, I got 3 categories that interest me.
Okay, 3 categories.
I'll let y'all choose. We can go with a moral question, a potentially embarrassing question.
Ooh, I like that one.
Or how do I frame this one? A far-reaching, as far as like thinking about when you're older question.
Those all sound interesting to me.
You want to choose one?
What was the first one?
A moral question?
Not
that one?
Not my strong suit.
Not your strong suit, huh?
Me neither.
Well, you could each choose a different one.
Yeah, I mean, whatever is good with me. I don't care. If you have one that you prefer, then just you go with that one, because I don't really care.
Okay, I'll choose for you. I think I'd like to know, so thinking about growing up, what is something that you think that you could accomplish between now and when you're my age that when you're my age, you would look back on and be proud of?
So like at any point between then and your age.
Anything, yeah. It doesn't have to be something you do either. Just like it doesn't have to be job related, but something that you would like to do in your life that you would be proud of when you're my age.
I would say I feel like I'd be more proud of something that isn't like work or school related, because I feel like, you know, everyone goes to school, or mostly everyone goes to school, and mostly everyone completes school. So I feel like that wouldn't feel as accomplishing as doing something unrelated with that. I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it much. Probably, I'd say maybe just doing something like I guess something like that lady was talking about at Home Slice, how her brother went on that biking thing, how he biked from, where was it, England to China?
He biked from England to Japan.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
Took him
that's cool.
5 months.
So like something like that, I feel like would be like a really cool accomplishment. Something
That'd be
like,
awesome.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not
Is-
sure exactly what.
Is it what is it about that interests you? Is it just doing something really big and hard and that takes a lot of time? Is it bicycling specifically?
No, not specifically, but just something like, yeah, like the fact that, it would take a lot of effort and time, and, I think the big, like the big factor that I was talking about is not having to do with something that's like, like classical with,
Academic.
yeah, academic or job related, something that, you have to take time off of from that to put effort, take the time that you have to be able to do something like that.
Yeah. You not only have to sacrifice, well, you not only have to do the thing itself, but you have to sacrifice other things in order to have the time to do it.
Yeah.
You have to save up for it, then you have to take time off work and potentially away from family and all kinds of things to make that happen. That's a big undertaking.
And especially like not even just being able to say that you did it, but also like, like she said, it took them like 5 months or something. So like being able to tell like the story, like things that happened, just all the experiences that happened to you or could happen, like just, having that to be able to talk about and, have happened to you is just pretty cool.
That's what I was thinking about too, that really interested me, is like what sort of things happened, what conversations were had, and sort of people were met, and what sort of obstacles did they hit on that journey that they had to overcome on a daily basis. It'd be really interesting to talk to them about that.
Yeah, and like that would just be something super cool to be able to, have happened in your life.
Yeah.
And, especially just like, having all those stories to be able to tell throughout your life. And that's just, that's just one thing that you did, that would just be pretty cool to be able to accomplish something like that. Not specifically that, but
Something.
Something, yeah.
Well, I'd love to help you figure out what that might be.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you want to bike from England to Japan, I'm in. I'll go with you.
That's awesome.
I don't get how did he like drive, bicycle over the water, or I can understand
Probably
going
under
from,
the tunnel.
yeah, but then with Japan, do they have something like that too?
I would imagine they probably got on a boat.
It's just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
Or just like has one of those
Stationary.
bikes.
Yeah, he just stationary bikes the whole time.
A bike powered boat.
Or the paddle boats or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sees him. Just a guy goes across the water with a bicycle powered boat.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That'd be fun to go across like an ocean with a bicycle powered boat. Sort of like kayaking,
Yeah,
but with the pedals.
exactly. It's like a paddle boat or something like that.
Yeah.
So what were the 3 questions?
So that was the far-reaching, getting older question.
Okay.
There was a moral question
And potentially embarrassing.
and a potentially embarrassing
What
one.
would you go for, Austin?
Potentially embarrassing.
I think that's what he said. Yeah.
I think that's what he said. Austin.
Moral.
Moral.
All
Okay.
right.
Do you think it's important not to lie?
Yeah, it depends on the scenario. Some person's like, where's your house? And they're like,
Like a creepy
Knife.
person or like a policeman? was asking.
Creepy
me.
person.
Oh yeah.
Stranger.
That'd be good.
Stranger danger.
Probably good to lie or just not tell them.
What about to your siblings?
Probably just don't lie, but occasionally it's good to lie if they're asking where your candy stash is.
That's very true.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not like, if it's something that actually like matters, then yeah, definitely don't lie. But yeah, like you said, if they're trying to figure out where your candy stash is, and it's not hurting them not to know,
Yeah.
and it's yours, so there's really not a reason not to lie other than the fact that it's a lie. But at that point, it doesn't really matter.
So what is it about lying? Like why do we have that value of lying? Like what does that?
Because it's misleading.
Yeah.
Don't make me write a paragraph on this.
That's coming next, a paragraph.
Well, we haven't gotten to the point of the episode where we assign you homework.
Yeah. 2
I
hours
wouldn't
of
do
it.
it.
You're starting to sound like Mr. Womack.
Oh, really?
He just like starts talking, and then eventually, before we know it, it's like, okay, now write a paragraph about this.
Well, I think it's interesting you said misleading. What is it about? Is it you were kind of pointing to kind of relationship wise? Like, do you feel like you can have a relationship with somebody if it has lies in it?
No, you cannot have the relationship, because if you're lying, if you're like married and you're dating someone and they ask if you're married and you say no, then that's important.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's different types of relationships. Like there's friendships, which is a type of relationship.
Yeah.
Like if your friend says, "Hey, does this look good on me?" and you don't think so, but other people might, you say, "Yeah, you look great," anyways. And that's not like actually hurting anybody. Maybe their self-esteem or something, but I mean, it depends on the scenario.
Yeah.
What do you think it would do to the relationship if you thought that they didn't look good in what they were wearing and you told them that?
It might hurt their feelings. I don't know. It depends on whether they thought they looked good in it or not. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that would be hard. There's a lot of different. It seems like what you're getting at is there's a lot of different variables in there, because you telling them, "Hey, that doesn't look good," might actually help them embarrassment like later on, because other people might be like, "What is she wearing?"
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you balance all those things? That's not an easy. I see where you're kind of playing with that idea that it's not really a one size fits all. It seems like.
Yeah, because if you lie to them, then they're like, "Hey, that's nice of you to say, but you're lying." But if you said the truth, then it's like, "That's mean. Why did you say that?"
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Is it nice if it's a lie?
Not really.
I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, that is something to think about, I guess. I mean, I think really, just like to answer your question, I feel like overall, if it's okay to lie, I think it's really situational, definitely situational. So, I mean, like, certain situations, you kind of have to lie, even, because it can really affect, how things turn out, like good or bad, or, helping you or not helping you. And, in the times that, you shouldn't, then you shouldn't.
Well, it definitely seems as you guys get older, you're going to be faced with more and more complex situations, and I think that's something it's cool to see you guys already have thought through these situations already. I mean, it does get really complex, and you have to be aware of all those elements. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Dad.
Yeah.
I'll do the potentially embarrassing question. I'm gonna do it.
No,
I'll go for
Elia's
it.
supposed to do it, because you did the far into the.
Oh, did you not
I
bring
did
it?
the.
I guess Elia hasn't
Well,
done
everybody's
it.
been answering
Yeah,
all
yeah.
3 questions,
Yeah.
so okay. All right, Aiden.
I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it.
I know,
I
you're
feel like
very
you're playing
brave. I'm
Truth or
impressed.
Dare right now.
I know. Do y'all play Truth or Dare?
I've played it
No.
a few times with my
I
friends.
like watching people play it. I hate doing it myself because It's not fun.
I don't either.
All right, so I never liked it either. It was kind of boring.
Yes.
All right, Aiden, have you ever been in love?
No, I have not.
No?
No. I mean, I think that if you are, you're definitely really aware of it. And if I try to think if I was, nothing comes up.
Nothing comes to the front of your mind?
No, yeah. And I feel like if I was, I would obviously know it. I feel like if you don't know if you are, then I don't think you are. That's my opinion.
I think that's a good read.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good.
Was that it?
That was the question, yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
Austin and Elia?
No, I haven't been in love. I mean, obviously, like, crushes are like, wow, he looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
But not in love.
Yeah.
Austin's really struggling.
How about you, Austin? Have you ever
I
been
think he's
in
trying to
love?
avoid the question.
No.
No.
And also, this water is deadly.
This water's
Deadly.
Yeah.
What do y'all think it would be to be in love?
I don't
guess-
know because I haven't been in love.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I said, if you feel like you are, like if you notice that you feel like it's become more than just a crush or something, and at that, I think there just becomes a point where it feels like it becomes more to you than just just a crush.
It's kind of, you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
You know it when you feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like that. It's a big feeling, and you're gonna notice it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I think there's. Do you have more of those questions? I've got one.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I think Matt and I definitely would like to. This might be a harder question, so you can pass on this. Well, I think Matt and I both are interested. Like, what is something that you guys need from us as fathers? Like, is there areas that we can be,
Let us have ice cream more often.
That is a good one.
Would that improve your life?
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Life happiness just goes. Oh,
It goes way up.
yeah, way up.
I mean, I can think of some things that I know as a father I would like to do better, but I wonder if there's any other areas, or if you want me to share with some of those areas. But
Whenever you're tickling, not try digging out our armpits.
yeah, so I'm trying to get all the way in there.
But there's no more space. Mm-hmm. You're just sort of impaling our chests.
Yeah,
And it hurts. It's
Yeah.
not ticklish, it just hurts.
yeah. Is there anything that you'd want to share, or?
I don't think so. There's nothing that comes to mind.
Well, I'll share with you one area that I feel like I could be a better father to you. Well, that actually makes me feel emotional. When I said that. I was like, "Whoa, I'm about to lose it." No, I would like to be able to support you more. And I don't know what that looks like, but
I don't either.
Support in the form of ice cream.
support in the form of ice cream. Well, specifically, I feel like you are a very independent person, and I don't really have to. I feel like you kind of take a lot of things on yourself, and I would like to make sure that I don't put more on you than I should. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to make sure that I'm supporting you in what you need and not always relying on you for things. So, I think that's one thing as a father I really want to be careful of and aware of. So, and I also really want you to know that you do really well. Like your art and the things that you do is really, really fantastic. And I want you to feel like you can really pursue that stuff. So,
Thank you.
yeah, something like that. And then for Austin, like one place I'd really like to be a better father is also in the sporting area, but I really, whenever we have our moments where we butt heads,
Yeah.
I think that's an area that you've really challenged me in as far as like how to communicate with you. And I don't think I always do that. And that's always frustrating for me. I don't feel like I communicate in the way that I really want to, you know?
Okay.
I mean, do you experience that? Like when we have those times?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember, like, you know, I get really mad, I'd bang the table or something like that.
Yeah, that was not the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we haven't had one of those moments in a while, so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard. I think you also see me as a father and how I'm learning, and I don't always do things very well, you know? And that's one area I really want to keep learning in.
Okay.
So.
Or you won't want to keep learning. You want to know it.
Yeah. Well, I want to keep learning how to do that. So I don't think I'm ever going to arrive there, but I really want to do that better. So.
Okay.
But also one thing I do really appreciate about you is once you get focused on something, once you get your line on something, like you go full on. I mean, right now with soccer, it's like I've seen you just go whoop, and like you're full on with that. I think you're really concentrated, and so I love how once you direct your attention to something, it's like you were all the way in it.
It's easier because you have. It's not an abstract idea to follow to look at a ball and stay low, and then throw yourself at the ground to get the ball.
Totally. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But you get hyper focused. I think that's the thing. You do that with your Legos and also with Minecraft. You know, you have this ability to really hyper focus. I think is really awesome.
Unless if it's something abstract.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Aiden, did you have any answers to Michael's original question?
No, I didn't really think of anything. I mean,
No.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Whenever I think about it, nothing comes to mind. Yeah. I mean, it's good.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I'm glad
chilling.
to hear you say that. I think the thing that comes to my mind when I think about what I want as your father and in my relationship with you, I think that over the last several years, as our life has kind of changed, and you've been living through, in two different households since your mom and I split up.
Yeah.
I think I have placed a lot of my focus on sort of the business of life, making sure that all the gears turn in the way that I think that they should, so that people get where they need to be on time, and the things get done, so that we have the food that we need, and all these balls that I feel like I'm juggling, and I feel like I get like really focused on that and miss out on some times of, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's just some times of connection with you. And I think one of the things that I really enjoy and appreciate about you is the way that you think about things and your eagerness to engage in conversation, even like this one. And the fact that you were kind of pushing to do this, I love that about you. And I feel like a lot of times either you're not here half the time, or when you are here, we're so busy we don't get to have those conversations that I want to have more of. And I'd like to find more time for you and I to connect and spend time together and talk about what you're thinking about and what I'm thinking about and what's going on in your world, because I only really get access to a half of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I would. Yeah, that's what I would change about that. I guess is to be able to spend more time with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love these guys.
I know.
Thank you so much for doing this. Like, I mean, I know we're kind of like, kind of making you do it a little bit, but it really means a lot. I think this is really
just
fun.
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
How do you feel better now than you did at the beginning? Nope.
Not really. I don't feel very different.
No.
No, I'm just even warmer.
Yeah.
Even warmer.
Literally just, I'm starting to sweat now.
Yeah. I am
Well,
too.
we'll wrap it up. Do y'all have any final thoughts or any questions that you would want to ask us?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I should have probably prepared for that.
That's okay. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we love you guys.
Yeah.
love you too.
And thank y'all. So thank you guys for listening. And this is kind of like, again, the shores of ignorance of parenting too. And with your kids. And we don't have it figured out. And we're also learning in this area too. So thank you guys for joining us. Is there anything on your end, Matt?
No, thanks for listening. We'll see you.
Cool.
See you in a bit for another group.
Yeah, another group. Thank you.
Wait, so wouldn't the acronym be SOY?
Yep. True.
Or just like So I.
So I. All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Yay.
Hey, thank you guys. That was really cool.